Hey, welcome back, guys. So today on this video, we're talking about Wells Fargo checks, and more specifically, I'm going to quickly answer a question I keep getting a lot on one of my other videos, and that is, how do you fill out a Wells Fargo check? So let's go ahead and talk about this. First off, guys, real quick video, not too many steps involved, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video. But why would you need to fill out a Wells Fargo paper check anyways? Well, that's pretty easy. Maybe you run an online company like I do, but you know that sometimes vendors request that you pay them with a paper check as opposed to things like Zelle or Venmo or Cash App. Whatever the case is, it's a pretty easy process, and I have an image of a Wells Fargo check here in front of me. Check my video description. I'll try to leave all the written instructions there as well. So first, on your Wells Fargo paper check, what you want to do is look at your address here at the top. So generally, you're going to have your address listed. However, if you have an incorrect address or a previous address, you might want to go ahead and update that, especially if your vendor is going to be shipping you something for, let's say, your e-commerce business. Because if you have the wrong address here, it is possible they're going to send out your merchandise to some other address. So we want to try to mitigate those kind of loss opportunities. So usually you'll just put a line through it like this, and then just update your address. So 123 Oak Street. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's not required, but I would recommend that if your address is incorrect. Also, a lot of times your Wells Fargo paper checks are not going to have your phone number. So if you are purchasing something from a vendor and you think they might need to get in touch with you for whatever reason, you might want to go ahead and put your phone number there. And that way, when they have your check, or if they're kind of confused about what this is for, they have a phone number to call you and see what this check is for. Because you're not the only check that they're going to be receiving. They might be receiving hundreds or thousands of different checks similar to yours. Again, this is optional, but I would recommend that if you think that that person is going to need to contact you for whatever reason. Now, this one is really important right here, pay to the order of. So this is who you're going to be paying. So whether it's a person or a company, you need to make sure that their name of their company or the name of the person is spelled correctly, because if it is not correct and they go to cash this check, it's possible their bank is going to decline it. And that could cause things like late fees or delayed orders, things like that. So if it's an important order that you're placing, generally what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that vendor to email me how their name should appear here. And that way, if there's any kind of error or it gets kicked back from their bank, it's going to be their fault, not mine. Also, another reason for this is if you're paying a person, let's say that person's name is Bill, let's say Bill Thompson, and you write in Bill Thompson. However, at the bank, they have their name as William Thompson, which is basically the same thing. If you wrote in Bill, it's possible their bank is not going to accept this check. So if you ask Bill to email you how the name should appear, he's probably going to say, put it as William Thompson. And if he, whatever reason, says Bill Thompson and their bank kicks it back, it's going to be their fault, not yours. Also, the same thing with companies. So let's say it's Acme Flowers. So a lot of times company names will just have this, although sometimes they'll have LLC or INC afterwards. So sometimes that should be included, sometimes not. Same thing. Be sure to ask Acme Flowers how it should appear. Should it be Acme Flowers or should it be Acme Flowers LLC? Because that can make a difference if they can cash this check or not. Okay, so once you have filled out the pay to the order of, I don't want someone to come behind me and start adding words in here, because that could change the name and they might be able to cash it. So it's Acme Flowers First Street or Acme Flowers Unlimited. They can easily just write that in and then cash the check. So usually what I'll do is I'll just put a line through any kind of blank space. And that way someone can't come behind me and start adding in words. Here at the top, this one is pretty self-explanatory. This is going to be the date. So here you're just going to put the year. And then here you can go ahead and put the numeric version or the written version. Usually what I'll do is just do the first 3 letters of the month and then a number. You can also do 0 to 14 if you want, and then fill out the year. Either one of these will be just fine and acceptable. And you want to be sure to put this date as the date that you're filling out the check. Next here, you're going to put the numeric version of how much you are paying Acme Flowers. So let's say that we're going to pay them $14.33. So usually I'll do $14 and then decimal 33. And then here at the top, I'll just put a diagonal line that kind of crosses everything out, and then 100. So as you can see, I took up the complete space here. So for someone to be able to add in digits here, it's going to be kind of difficult. It's going to look really strange if someone starts adding in numbers, and that helps prevent fraud. So $14.33 over 100. And now that we've done that, we need to write out the dollar amount here in words. So we're going to do $14, and then after that, we're going to do the and symbol, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do 33 over 100. So 33 over 100. And then same thing, you can see there's a lot of blank space here. So someone can easily come in and start writing things in, but I'll usually just do a line through just like so. Down here on the bottom right, this is going to be your signature. So make sure you use the signature that Wells Fargo has on file for you, because if there happens to be fraud, this is one of the security features they're going to look at, is if your signature matches what what they have on file when you first opened up your Wells Fargo bank account. And then down here on the bottom left, for or memo. So this is completely optional, but I always recommend you fill it out. So if you're paying a company, you can go ahead and maybe put in your invoice number, invoice 123, or account number if you have an account number with Acme Flowers. If you don't have either one of these, you might want to go ahead and put in something that references your order. So you can do 300 plates. And this serves as a couple of different purposes. One is because if you are paying Acme Flowers $14.33, most likely you're going to forget what this payment was for 5 years in the future. So if you need to reference back on this, you're going to see this little memo. Oh, I can remember it was for 300 plates. Also, the other reason is Acme Flowers, like I said, maybe they're receiving hundreds or thousands of orders each day and different checks. So if this check gets disconnected from your account for whatever reason, Acme Flowers can easily reference what the account number is or what the invoice number is where they should apply this $14.33. So this is for you to remember and for them to remember. Now here at the bottom, this is not really relevant, but you probably want to know what this stuff is for. So usually down here on the bottom left, this is going to be your routing number. So this lets them know that it's a Wells Fargo check. Here is usually going to be your account number. So if you need your Wells Fargo account number, it's usually located right there. And then these digits right here on the right are usually going to be the check number. So the check number is printed down here on the bottom right, and then also up here on the top right. Now, if you are paying a vendor with a Wells Fargo paper check, sometimes they do request that you take a picture of it and then send it to them, and that's for their record. So you can easily just snap a picture of this completed check here. So there you have it, guys. If you're wondering how to fill out a Wells Fargo paper check, that's the easiest way I know how to do it. If you know an easier way, be sure to leave a comment below. Let the rest of us know how you did it. Hopefully you found that video useful. If so, click thumbs up or maybe consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.